Have you ever watched a toddler playing on the floor? They crouch down to inspect a bug or pick up a toy with perfect ease, their hips settling deeply between their heels, their backs straight, completely comfortable in a position that most of us haven't visited in decades. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? At what point did we lose that freedom? At what point did getting down to the floor, and more importantly, getting back up, become a task we dread or avoid entirely? If you have noticed that your hips feel like rusty hinges, or that your lower back aches after standing for too long, or even if you just feel a general sense of stiffness that wasn't there 10 years ago, I want you to know that you are not alone, but more importantly, this is not an irreversible sentence of aging. There is a way to turn back the clock on your mobility, and interestingly enough, it doesn't require a gym membership, expensive equipment, or hours of sweating. It involves returning to a fundamental human posture that we have simply forgotten. We're going to talk about a position that acts as a reset button for your entire musculoskeletal system. A posture that cultures around the world have used for thousands of years to maintain joint health well into old age. We often call it the resting squat. Now, before you worry about your knees or balance, please stay with me, because we are going to approach this with the care, safety, and gradual progression that your body deserves. And I promise you, the benefits of regaining even a fraction of this movement can change your daily life. To understand why this matters, we have to look at how we live. In the modern world, particularly in the West, we live our lives at 90 degrees. We sit in chairs to eat, we sit in cars to drive, we sit on sofas to relax, and we sit on slightly higher chairs, our toilets, to use the bathroom. While this is comfortable, it has a side effect. It tells our body that we no longer need the full range of motion in our hips, knees, and ankles. Over decades, the body, being incredibly efficient, adapts. It shortens the muscles we don't stretch and stiffens the joints we don't use. We essentially cast ourselves into the shape of a chair. This is why when you try to crouch down to check a tire pressure or weed the garden, your body protests. It's not that you are too old, it is that your biological machinery has essentially rusted in place from lack of use. The resting squat is the antidote to the chair. It is the position humans were designed to use when resting, before furniture was invented. When you lower your center of gravity and settle into a deep squat, you are engaging in a comprehensive tune-up of your lower body mechanics. Let's talk about what actually happens inside your body when you do this, because the physiology is fascinating and quite encouraging. The first thing that happens involves your spine. When you are standing, gravity is compressing your vertebrae. When you are sitting, especially with poor posture, you are often compressing the discs in your lower back. However, when you drop into a squat with proper form, your pelvis tilts in a specific way that allows the lower spine to elongate. It is a form of natural traction. Many of my patients who struggle with nagging, low-level back pain find that this position offers a relief that no amount of stretching or medication provides, because it is mechanically creating space for the nerves to breathe. It's a gentle decompression that reverses the heaviness of the day. Then there are the ankles. This is often the overlooked culprit in mobility issues. As we age, our ankles tend to become very stiff. If your ankles won't bend, your knees and hips have to work overtime to compensate, and that is often where injury strikes. By practicing this deep resting position, you are gently coaxing flexibility back into the ankles, specifically a movement called dorsiflexion. This is crucial for balance. A flexible ankle can adjust to uneven ground, preventing falls, whereas a stiff ankle is like walking on stilts, unstable and prone to toppling. By working on this squat, you are directly investing in your fall prevention strategy. We can also not ignore the hips. The hip joint is a ball and socket meant to rotate and move freely. Years of sitting tightens the front of the hips and weakens the back. The squat forces the hips to open up, lubricating the joint capsule with synovial fluid, which is essentially the oil for your body's engine. There is another benefit that we often shy away from discussing, but as a doctor, I believe in being open about all aspects of health, and that is digestion. It turns out that the sitting position we use for the bathroom is actually somewhat unnatural for our anatomy. It creates a kink in the elimination tract. Squatting, or bringing the knees closer to the chest, straightens that pathway. Even if you don't use a squat toilet, simply possessing the flexibility to bring your legs up helps your digestive organs settle into their natural alignment. It massages the internal organs through compression and release, which can be incredibly helpful for those struggling with sluggish digestion or constipation, which are common concerns as we get older. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, "That sounds wonderful, doctor, but my knees would never allow that." I understand that fear. We've been told for years that deep bending is bad for the knees, but the truth is more nuanced. Healthy knees require full movement to stay healthy because cartilage does not have a blood supply. It gets its nutrients through the compression and release of movement. If we never bend the knee fully, we starve the cartilage in those end ranges. However, and this is a massive however, we must respect your starting point. We do not go from 0 to 100 overnight. If you have existing knee pain, severe arthritis, or recent surgeries, we proceed with caution and modifications, but we do not have to abandon the goal of better movement entirely.
So, how do we reclaim this posture safely? We treat it not as an exercise, but as a project. You don't need to drop to the floor right now. In fact, I prefer you don't. We start with support. I want you to imagine using your kitchen sink or a sturdy door frame. Stand in front of it and hold on tight. This takes the weight off your legs and puts it into your arms. It removes the fear of falling. Place your feet about shoulder width apart, maybe a little wider, and turn your toes out slightly. Think of a clock face, with your toes pointing to 10 and 2. This outward turn clears the way for your hips to move. Now, while holding that support, simply lower your hips back and down as if you were reaching for a low stool. Go only as far as is comfortable. If that is only 6 inches down, that is your victory for today. The goal is to keep your heels flat on the floor. If you feel your heels lifting, that's your ankles telling you they're tight, and that is perfectly okay. A great trick for this is to place a rolled-up towel or a thick book under your heels. This fills the gap and gives you a solid platform, instantly making the squat feel more accessible and stable. It removes the strain from the ankles and allows you to focus on the hips. As you hold on to the sink or door frame, keep your chest lifted. Imagine there is a light on your chest and you want to shine it forward, not down at the floor. Breathe deeply. This is not a powerlifting competition. It is a relaxation pose. If you can only hold it for 5 seconds, that is fine. Stand up, shake it out, and carry on with your day. The magic is not in the intensity, but in the consistency. If you do this small, supported movement every day, you will notice that over weeks and months, you can go a little lower. You will notice the towel under your heels can get thinner. You might notice that one day you don't need to grip the sink quite as tightly. For those who are finding even the supported squat difficult, we can start even simpler. You can lie on your back on your bed or the floor and simply pull your knees toward your chest. This mimics the joint angles of a squat, but removes gravity entirely. It's a safe, zero-impact way to remind your hips and knees of what they are capable of. Or simply sit on a low footstool for a few minutes while watching television. The act of sitting lower than a normal chair begins the process of opening the hips. The progression is gentle. Perhaps for the first 2 weeks, you only do supported squats holding the door frame for 20 seconds at a time. As you get stronger, you might try holding a weight in front of you, a heavy book or a jug of water. Counterintuitively, holding a weight in front of you acts as a counterbalance, preventing you from falling backward and allowing you to sit deeper with an upright torso. It's a physics trick that makes the movement easier, not harder. Eventually, the goal is to be able to rest in a squat position, heels down, without holding on for a minute or so. In many parts of Asia and the Middle East, you will see people age 70, 80, even 90 waiting for a bus or resting in the fields in this exact position. They don't have special genes, they just never stopped doing it. They kept the machinery oiled. We must also talk about when not to push through. There is a difference between the discomfort of stretching a tight muscle and the sharp pain of injury. Good pain feels like a dull ache or a stretch, a sign that tight tissues are waking up. Bad pain is sharp, shooting, or electric. If you feel sharp pain in your knees or hips, you back off immediately. You reduce the depth, you add more support, or you stop and consult with your physical therapist. We are looking for progress, not perfection, and certainly not pain. Listen to the wisdom of your body. It will tell you the difference between "this is hard because I'm stiff" and "this is wrong." Incorporating this into your life should be seamless. You don't need to carve out a 30-minute workout block. You can do a gentle, supported squat while you brush your teeth in the morning. You can do one while waiting for the kettle to boil. You can do a few seconds during a commercial break. The idea is to sprinkle this movement throughout your day, reminding your body that it is safe to leave the 90-degree angle of the chair. It is about reclaiming your confidence. Think about the practical implications. It means being able to get down to play with a grandchild on the carpet and get back up without needing a crane. It means being able to reach into the bottom cupboard in the kitchen without a groan. It means keeping your balance when you slip on an icy sidewalk because your ankles are responsive and strong. This journey is more than just a physical position. It is about maintaining your independence. The ability to rise from the floor is actually one of the strongest predictors of longevity that we have in preventative medicine. It signals that your muscle mass, your coordination, and your joint health are all functioning in harmony. By practicing the resting squat, you are essentially training for the sport of life. You are telling your body that you intend to remain active, capable, and mobile for years to come. It is a message of resilience. So I invite you to try it, not to force it, not to conquer it, but to explore it. Find a sturdy doorframe today. Place a book under your heels if you need to, and just gently lower yourself down, breathing slowly. Feeling the stretch in your lower back, feeling the opening in your hips. Be patient with yourself. You are reversing decades of habit, and that takes time. But the body is incredibly forgiving and adaptable, no matter your age. It wants to move. It wants to be fluid. It just needs you to show it the way. Let this simple, prehistoric posture be your daily ritual for longevity. You might be surprised by how quickly your body says thank you in the form of less pain, better movement, and a renewed sense of freedom in your own skin. Because ultimately, age is not just about the number of years you have lived, but about how you move through those years. And with a little patience and consistency, you can move through them with grace, strength, and confidence.